starts, and there was this section that he cited from a female author who, she said she threw up her hands in dismay because she couldn't stop her young boy from playing with guns. She took everything that was even remotely resembling a gun out of the house, and then she caught him one day, shooting the toothbrush at the cat. Bang, bang, bang. And instead of noticing that he had this male propensity to aim and shoot that was deeply rooted in her son, she was appalled to the core by his intractable masculinity and believed that her, ideologically adult sense of what constituted masculine behavior was so morally admirable that it was perfectly fine to her to be disgusted by the fact that no matter how hard she oppressed her son, he was still a boy. And all of that was couched in this moral terms. And I thought, you witch, that's absolutely unforgivable. To see that as such an intrinsic part of your boy's character, and then to throw your hands up in moral dismay about exactly this patriarchal oppression and the toxic masculinity and all of that.
We're kind of doing that as a whole in society right now. We're feminizing our boys to such a degree now. I mean, we're just, we're telling them that anything they do or want to do that has been seen as masculine is not right. And, it's like, even though they may not be hurting anyone at all, that is seen as wrong. It's kind of like, again, that was when I was a kid, my mother was very religious and still is, and a very strict religion. And, it was looked down upon, in her eyes to view me with playing with squirt guns or anything else. But again, we did to a degree, but it was looked down upon by her, and you should want to be more upstanding, is basically what they taught. And, and you could tell she, if you did something when you were 10, 11 years old, like play with a cap gun or something, it was like that was disapproved of by her. And she let you know that you should want to do better. Was the kind of the behavior behind it. But, in no way am I saying my mom is bad or anything else. I love her very much. It's just, that's where her mindset is in a way. And, but I think the problem is, like nowadays, there's we're kind of feminizing our boys straight, like everyone is, like straight out of the womb, just, the toys, the behavior, the whatever, and if they want to do something that's seen as traditionally male, that is seen as wrong. We don't want to see our kids, well, I'll give it to you this way. I have two of my kids who are still in, elementary school. And, again, they can't play like when I was in school. I'm 45. When I was in school, we used to play Rambo on the playground at school back in the 80s. But that was seen as okay. Nobody cared. Nobody gave one shit whether or not you pretended to shoot other kids on the playground. It's like, as long as you actually didn't hurt somebody or throw stuff at them or whatever, it's like they didn't care. But now, if you pretend, to bang, to shoot somebody on the playground, you're suspended and possibly expelled. So it's like we have gone to a place where we are like an ultra control. We're ultra feminizing our boys, our kids. And, it's like, and no wonder, certain things are happening nowadays, like, women getting raped on the subway, and several guys are standing there and they're not doing anything except staring at the floor or recording it on their phones. It's like we want our men to do something, but we castrate them as kids, and then we expect them to grow up and be men. It's like you took their balls away when they were 10 years old. It's like, what do you expect? So it's again, we got to really kind of understand that we're doing them a disservice, and we're doing our society as a whole a disservice. And we've got to understand that. We got to be honest about that. We're not, we always talk about women's rights and making, what kind of guys are we cultivating for our women? I mean, the hell with the guy. Let's say the hell with the guys. Let's say you don't care about boys at all. But what kind of what kind of boys and men are you cultivating for those women, those girls? That's something we really got to think about. Is like, while we're making them, more civilized and more this and more that, it's like, no, you're not. No, you're not. And look at the actual data of what some of these girls are trying. You're not. If you're demasculizing these boys at a young age, and they grow up and they sit in their mom's basement, they're 30, 35 years old, and they're too afraid to even talk to a woman. What have you done for these boys? What have you given them? What have you helped them with? What have you, it's like let's look at the actual data on things. Boys not going to college, boys not graduating from college, boys living at home with their parents until they're 40 years old. It's just all these different things. Women saying they can't find, whatever. And it's like, and the vast majority of these boys, these men now, it's like the women don't find them attractive. Majority of them, they swipe whatever way. I forgot what, I don't use dating apps or anything. I'm married, but they swipe in a way, whichever way to disapprove of these guys. And it's like the vast majority of women don't find it attractive, but the vast majority of the women, the guys, find it attractive. So these boys are trying to figure out how do I make myself more attractive to these, these girls? Maybe we should let them from a young age be who they are to a degree. It's like we got to understand that we got to put our foot down if they're hurting themselves or somebody else, or if they're, on the phone until 2 a.m. on school night or something. It's like, we got to step, and those are the things that we don't put our foot down on. But, there are certain things we got to put our foot down with. But we've also got to allow our boys to be boys and grow out to be men, build stuff, structure, order, build stuff, go after what they want. Teach that kind of behavior. Don't teach them to be surrogate husbands to their mothers. It's like, you're doing our boys a disservice. And we've got to recognize this. I'm going to do more and more stuff on this because I think it's important for us to really recognize what we're doing. But anyways, guys, if you like my content, like the video, please like and subscribe.
You son of a